I was just wondering why there was 2 proposals for loaders in there.
Rick will be here this morning. I'm not sure. We talked with him yesterday. Yeah.
One's a Cat and one's a Fiat. Volvo. The only thing. Caterpillar's got their own name, but Caterpillar's been kind of tough on a water tower. Caterpillar's been tough on water companies here. They took all their manufacturing and people taking. First, they weren't paying for 6 months, and then they pulled it. They told it. But that's.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just the truth.
Oh, yeah.
So the battery's gonna last another 15 times, Cindy?
15, is
Isn't
that what I have left?
I don't know, pretty close.
Oh, I charge it every week.
You're too quick.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, maybe I should call you that. I'll wait till 9.
Yeah.
wow, look at all the people here today.
What you're gonna do?
Didn't.
That's next Tuesday, okay. Okay. Yeah. Mhm, okay,
Yeah, I talked to a few of them.
okay, all right.
It's
Yeah, just the ones that are in Codington, yeah. Mhm, so she's really.
All right. If I have any trouble with
You could invite both Nancy and the guy that was just elected. You know, Nancy will be done by it, yes, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's your project budget.
No, I think it's early. I believe.
And you'll see, we're gonna see.
No.
All right, good morning, everyone. It is 9 a.m. I'm going to call this meeting of the Codington County Board of Commissioners to order. It is Tuesday, December 6, 2022. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Waterman, would you lead us today?
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you for that. Just a couple housekeeping items. If you have a cell phone, if you would silence it. If you need to take a call, if you'd step out into the rotunda, please. Also, we are streaming live on YouTube. Item number 2, call for public comment. These are items that are not on the agenda, and individuals can still call in, and the 2 phone numbers, excuse me, 605-882-6248 or 605-882-6297 for comment only, and we will address those during the open part of our meeting. Item number 3, conflict of interest items. Are there any for fellow commissioners?
none.
Item number 4, action to approve the December 6,
moved.
2022 agenda. Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any additions? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 5, action to approve the November 22nd, 2022 minutes of the Codington County Board of Commissioners. Motion by Johnson.
Second.
Second by Van Duzen. Any additions or corrections on that? Not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. We'll move on then to monthly reports, and we'll start with extension.
Morning, Jody.
Good morning, Jody.
Kid was here. And a tall chair.
Yeah.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
We held our team dash on Saturday, December
3rd it was. At Extension Complex, we had teens from Codington, Clark, Day, Hamlin, Grant, Robertson. So it was great to have all those kids together to work together and learn about leadership. And they had a lot of fun. We're having December Clover Buds right now and have a group tonight in Watertown. I have 2 groups in Watertown, so we have total 24 right now in Watertown. We're in the planning stages for shooting sports, could still use some volunteer coaches for archery. There is a training being held in Brookings on December 17th. We are having a youth in action day on December 28th during Christmas break for kids to learn about fashion review and communications about public speaking and demonstrations. And then our 4-H display is up at the Winter Wonderland, along with a tree up at the Watertown Regional Library. It's $1 per vote. It is a fundraiser with the Watertown Area Community Foundation. And I have some pictures here and voting slips for you all. So here's a picture of
And
the-
part of that too, like the winners, they match.
they match up to $300 for every group. And then the top prize gets an extra amount of money. So you have to say you want to do it and then they have a drawing. So it's not like you're always going to get into that thing. So there's a few years we didn't get to have a tree at the library. So
It's
And
very
then-
competitive.
farm show is February 8th through the 11th, and we're still working on that also. So
They have these at the library.
they do. Yep. They have them at the library and we have them at the extension office also so that people can just do that and then we'll bring it there. So any questions?
Anyone have any questions?
Thank you.
Doesn't sound like
Thank
it.
you, Jody.
All right.
you for
Thank
your
you.
report. Have a good rest of your day. All right, then let's move on to community health nurse.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Ian?
All right, so I sent out 2 reports. One is our written report and one is our Excel spreadsheet that gives counts on our caseload. From the months of September to November, we issued out. Yeah.
Why don't you introduce?
Oh, go to Karen
She was
first.
going
Okay,
to, I
I was
think.
going to, but I
Yeah.
can first. Yes,
She wants
that's
to-
okay.
So we know
Getting
that
that.
person is sitting here, the other people do.
This is Karen Jensen. She is our new clerical. She started in August with us.
Yes.
So yes, I will let her speak as well.
I
So-
don't want to.
Yeah. Through September to November, we issued out 1,511 food packages, that estimated a total number of dollar value of $112,258.52. Our caseload continues to stay right around 500. It goes up or down just a little bit, with participants aging out and no longer being eligible. We still do have our waiver in place that allows us to do appointments over the phone. We try and do as many, obviously, as we can in person, but with COVID and influenza and RSV and everything like that, we are still seeing a little bit increase of people wanting to do things over the phone. School immunizations are all done. We went to 3 different schools. We also completed our state flu clinics. Influenza is on the rise, normally peaks in about February. So we still do have flu shots available in our office. If people would like those, they can just call and schedule an appointment for that. Our dietitian team lead is currently out on maternity leave. She had twin boys in November.
Oh.
Yes, so she is home snuggling with them in the cold. She works mainly with upper management, so it's not affecting like our day-to-day client services or things like that. We have a statewide expansion of Bright Start. That is a home-based program for first-time moms. So someone goes into the home and sees them monthly from birth up to the age of 2. That was originally not offered in Watertown. Closest was up in Sisseton, and they also covered the Webster area, but they are doing a statewide expansion. So they have hopes that every community will be able to have Bright Start here in the near future. So that is super exciting as well. Questions about things before I let Karen go on?
Just on your caseload.
Yes.
So, for the quarter, you have 984, is that it? So are they rolling cases? I mean, like, so I'm guessing, so some of the 493 from October and the 491 from November, a lot of those are the same people, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it goes off just a little bit as far as once
Yeah, I
kids
get it.
turn
I
5,
get
then they age off, or, things like that, or if people move and things like that. But yes, it continues to carry over.
So for your quarterly number, it might be better to show an average as opposed to like a total of the two. Is that a total of it?
So the third quarter is just September.
No, I
So
was looking at the fourth quarter. there.
the fourth quarter, so
Yeah.
that would be, be a total of the 493 and the 491 together.
But you don't have that. You don't have 984.
Correct. Yep, that goes just off of,
Okay.
yep. This is the Excel spreadsheet, that was actually made up by the state.
Oh, really?
So everybody that comes to the commissioners meetings use them, so, yeah.
It might be a little bit, as an average, it might be a little bit better on that one. That's a.
Sure, and I mean, I can definitely, we can't modify this one, but I can definitely add that
Yeah,
into
might be
something
something
just
to
for
ask
you
them about
guys.
that.
Yep, yeah, not a problem.
That's good.
Other questions? before
Good,
Karen?
good.
Okay, awesome. Go ahead, introduce yourself, where you came from.
I'm Karen Jensen. I worked 15 years in optical at Walmart. I retired a couple years ago and got a little bored, so here I am. I love everybody at the WIC office, very patient, very helpful, and there's a lot to learn, but I'm doing good, aren't I?
Yes, she's doing great. Yes, yes.
I'm gonna put you on the spot again.
No, she's doing great. The only question that I have, I was just asking for approval. We have a statewide meeting in Redfield on the 15th of this month, and if Karen and Sarah can travel to that with us.
And that's already scheduled for the travel, for the.
Yeah,
travel
travel.
requests.
Correct.
So that, yeah,
Approve
they'll
that
take
later.
action. on
do
that.
it today.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. And then my only other question, going forward with how these sheets are laid out with the quarters, I know I was coming like March, June, September, December. Will it be okay with you guys if I come January, April, July, and October, just so it lines up better with our quarters?
Makes sense.
Okay, perfect. Good deal. Awesome. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you.
Have a great day.
You too, thank you.
You too.
All right, then, let's move on to item number 7, action to approve ordering of 3 patrol cars as budgeted in 2023.
It's like a whole fleet.
Good morning, Matt and Brad.
Order them, might not get them till 2027.
There you go. All right, well, like I say, I'm up here to see if we can order 3 patrol cars for 2023. It's been really different year this year and last year. We've been trying to buy vehicles. I've been working with Watertown Ford and Chrysler here locally to get some prices, and I've also been checking with the state bid to see if certain vehicles are available. Watertown Ford and Chrysler were saying that some of the vehicles that we were looking at, maybe like Ford Explorers, and some of those are already, the deadline is closed back in September of 22 already for 2023. So looking forward here, looking to buy a pickup for $38,000, Dodge Ram 1500, and 2 Charger all-wheel drives. The reason I'm looking for Chargers is because they say it's pretty good chance you might get those if you order them. The Durangos and some of the SUVs, they said you can place the order, but you may not get them. You have better odds of getting a Charger than you would if you were to try to place an order on the others. They're also a little bit more inexpensive compared to the Durangos. So they're about $5,000 less than a Durango, 4 to 5. So $36,823 for the Charger per vehicle and $38,000 for the pickup.
I'll make a motion to approve the ordering of these.
Motion by Gable,
Second.
second by Waterman. You have any comments, questions?
Now, did they give you any? They're not gonna assure the delivery though, are they?
They're not going to
Okay.
assure the delivery. It's possible that they could get canceled if Dodge and Ram, if they take too many orders in, they can cancel it. So there's a lot of what ifs these last couple of years when you're ordering vehicles.
This is kind of tentative, what we're approving this morning.
Hoping to get them ordered here. They said that it could potentially close for the ordering of the Dodge and Ram vehicles here very soon. What they hear is they get just a couple days notice, and then all of a sudden they closing. You have to get your orders in by 2 days from now and you're done. So that's why I'm trying to get this in a little bit earlier for the process.
All 3 of these are in your 23 budget.
All 3 of these are budgeted items, yes.
Brad, the question that I have, I guess, is the Charger versus the Ram pickup. Out in the county, South Dakota winters are pretty rough. I mean, you know, with a pickup, you can haul more equipment. I assume you've looked at
Yeah.
all that, so.
I've kind of trying to look at the gas mileage part too. Looking at the cars versus the pickup. The pickup has a 5.7 liter Hemi versus the
So it's gonna
3.6
suck more.
Pentastar. So
Yeah.
looking at the gas mileage, yeah, I've definitely thought about being able to haul and being out in the county roads a little bit, but we kind of have a fleet of SUVs and pickups right now, and I figured this would be and also looking at the expense, budget wise, trying to keep it feasible, I guess, so.
Do you have equipment that'll come off of one car and go on to the new chargers?
I have
or-
a lot of equipment that'll come off, but there'll be just a little bit of equipment that'll have to be bought, push bumpers and cages, et cetera, but
Yeah.
those are budgeted as well.
First, we gotta get the vehicles,
Yeah.
First, we got to get the vehicle.
right? Ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 8, action to approve hiring of 2 full-time correctional officers.
All right, for 2023, we did budget to add 2 full-time correctional officers. This is to help with time off, to help with also with our part-timers. We recently, in the last couple of years with our wage study, found out that you have to kind of cap our part-timer hours to 20 hours per week. These part-timers are helping cover shifts. When we have 12-hour shifts in the jail, it's difficult to have a part-timer work 2 shifts. That's
Mhm.
24 hours in a week. So
Mhm.
by having a couple more part-timers, a couple more full-timers, that'll help with scheduling and with all the time off that our people get. This is a budgeted item that we did have in there for 2023. And like I say, kind of looking at McGrath, when she did the wage study, she was saying that use this to help fix some of the issues with the part-timers. It's been difficult to find part-timers. We typically try to keep about 8 of them on staff. Some of them work a lot of hours, some of them don't, depending on their schedule and with their school schedule and everything that they have going on. We have 1 part-time jailer that is getting full-time benefits because of the amount of hours that she has worked. So this should help fix that. So we're already paying those benefits.
Mhm.
So this would put that person in a full-time position and then add 1 more. So
Now, can you use students from the program up at Lake area?
to be honest with you, that's a majority, that's 95% of our part-time staff, which makes it again difficult to day hours and weekend hours. It's hard for them to adjust down and work night shifts, day shifts and some holidays, and depending on their school schedule.
I would say we're very fortunate to have them here, do whatever you can to partner with them to make it
Yep.
work. You know, that's. I
We
mean,
employ a lot of
We're
theirs.
very fortunate to have them in our backyard.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then a lot of times after they graduate, they come over to the jail. So, yep.
I'll make a motion to approve this
Second.
request.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Any other comments, questions?
I had an opportunity to visit with one of your people here a while back, and it was a student at Lake area, was a correctional officer, and you know, you go through that program up there hoping to become a full-time deputy or whatever. But we really had a candid visit, and he said this was really good to work in the jail for a period of time to learn how to handle situations because you have a backup right there. He said, when you go out as a deputy, you may not have that backup. And he was very straightforward. He said, I feel much better prepared to go out as a deputy now than I did before. So it's a good program, you know,
It
let's
is.
really enhance that, I think, something that we need to work with. Thank you.
That's one of the things I've noticed when I hiring deputies too, taking someone from the jail, that they learn how to communicate and talk to
Yep.
people and de-escalate situations. And they've got a lot of real life experience dealing with a lot of different types of people.
Good.
Yep. All right. Are we ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Very
One
good.
last thing, I know it's not on the agenda, but it's kind of an emergency item here. I figured I wanted to share. Our correctional care vendor that comes into the jail is announced to us December 1st that they are having financial difficulties and they're going bankrupt. They gave us an 60 to 90 day window of being out. Could possibly be sooner if the employee that they have in our jail, the nurse, does get a different job somewhere else. They won't be able to hire somebody, so it's possible that that'd be sooner. So Matt and I have been reached out and we met with one other vendor yesterday. They came up from Kansas. And we're gonna meet with another one this afternoon here. So trying to get the process rolling on that right away here so we don't lose our correctional care.
So basically, the current one is giving their notice.
The
Is that
current
correct?
one is given their notice.
Okay, okay.
It could be any day from now up until 90 days.
Okay,
So, yeah, what people were talking about with the public is the, that basically the healthcare providers in the jail, so we contract and they provide a nurse and they can
Mental
manage
health,
the.
The doctor, the
Yeah,
nurse,
and it's so much easier than having a jail
pharmacy,
staff doing it.
everything that's involved. So
Having had this service now for what, about a year?
4 years, 3.5, 4 years.
3.5,
Yeah.
that year went by pretty fast. I guess.
That's what I was actually next to that, Matt.
It's been,
But now, as we look at getting a new vendor, you know what to look for and what not to look for, so that's probably. You can zero in on what really works well.
Yep, Yep.
That's
those
so,
are some of the discussions that we were having yesterday with the one vendor, so.
yeah,
Things that we could change and things that work really well and things that we can tweak a little bit.
yeah,
So,
good.
Sounds good. At
That's good, but not good.
yeah,
least you're
yeah, thanks.
so, yeah,
taking care of it.
all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for the information on
Yep.
that. All right, item number 9, action to approve purchase of a mower deck for the highway department is budgeted in 2023.
Good morning.
Morning, Rick.
Morning.
Okay. First one is one mower deck. It's just a side deck for a new mower tractor. This is off a Sourcewell bid from Diamond Mowers of $28,163.64.
We need to take these
Yeah.
individually.
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
make a
do
motion.
them individually.
I'll make a motion.
Also second.
Motion by Gable, second by Van Duzen. Do we have any comments or questions on this? This is just for a mower deck.
These are all budgeted items that I have here today.
And the reason you're doing it ahead of time is the same reason.
Yeah. This, yep, that's,
How close to what you thought it was gonna be, did is this a quote here?
Yeah.
Is this a,
yep, that's the price,
That's
the
what-
28,000.
this is the price.
Yes,
So how close was it to your guesstimate?
right in there.
It wasn't.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Some of the stuff has gone sky high just in the
Well,
past month.
You gotta kind of figure
Yeah.
things are going up every year, so. That's why we're doing this now.
Yep.
So,
And this is a front and rear.
no,
This is just.
Just the size.
just
Just
the
the
side,
side?
just one mower deck, one mower tractor.
Those
Yeah,
are
yeah.
guards that you're looking at.
Yeah, okay,
Yep,
gotcha. Because we were a little confused last time on that. so.
yeah, the one we were confused on, we still haven't got, so.
Okay. All right, so we're ready to vote on this?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries.
Okay, the second one is John Deere mower tractor. It's a 6130M. This matches the rest of our mower tractors to put on this. We have a set of turf tires that will be able to switch to all 3 tractors. So when we're chip sealing, we don't put all the hours on one tractor for mowing, chip sealing. We can spread the hours on because the one tractor that we already have has over 2,000 hours on it. and It's only a few years old, so.
And you
But-
have a trade-in for that. right?
Yes, and the trade-in is 6410. And they're gonna give us $33,210 for that. And I kept my fingers crossed all fall to get mowing done without a breakdown, because that tractor has over 5,000 hours on it, so,
Just broke in. It's a John Deere.
okay.
All right, so I need a motion and a
I'll make
second to approve.
I'll make the motion.
I'll
Okay,
second.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Do we have any comments, questions? Not ready to vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. So then we'll go to item number 11, action to approve the purchase of a loader for the highway department is budgeted in 2023.
Okay, the first one is the same loader that we have currently. It's a Volvo L90. And the trade-in price that they give us for our old loader, which is 2008, and that has over 5,000 hours on it, is $80,000, and the purchase price would be $147,622. I was looking at what we gave for the old loader was more money than that. I was shocked. So.
Yeah.
And then the second,
This is more than we paid for it.
what's that?
Say, what did you
That,
just say?
the price that
The trade-in?
the 147,000 is less than what we gave for the loader that we're trading in.
Yeah.
So, yep. And then the second quote was from Butler. That was on a 938M. And they offered us $87,186.06. And the purchase price would be $203,280.88. My recommendation is to take the bid from Volvo, which would be TransSource out of Aberdeen. It's the same loader that we have now. The guys really like it. It's a smaller loader than what we bought this spring, and we've had really good luck with it, so.
I'll make a motion. Oh, go ahead, Myron. You make the motion. I'll
Okay,
second.
motion by Johnson, second by Van Duzen.
To go with this, the lower bid, 147.
Yeah.
The Volvo.
The Volvo. Okay, do you have any other comments, questions?
Is the Butler from also a bid from source, through source?
Yes. Yes,
And there's a difference of 352,000 all the way down to 196. Is that what I'm looking at?
well, down at the bottom,
I
You
mean,
get a-
well-
You get a, so they get, this is. the
well,
list
but I'm
price.
looking at the list
Yeah.
price on both of them. One is 352,000, the other's 196.
yeah, I'm not sure where that 352 came
Okay,
from.
well, that's,
Well, because then they discounted it, so then
Yeah.
it was 268,
but that's,
108, but
no,
that's on
I'm
the
just,
Butler.
I'm just comparing list.
Yeah, the
price.
ones you're getting,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, that was my question. Are we getting this?
You said the
Well, it's two
Volvo,
different
smaller.
types of-
You said the Volvo was smaller than the Cat, right?
No,
Oh, they're
no, they're the,
Yeah.
basically
but
the
I think
same
this is the
loader.
Caterpillar.
I'm talking about the one that we bought earlier.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But there's
That
still-
was twice the size of what
That
this
is
one
interesting.
is.
I'm just looking at this, Rick, and that's it. I mean, you've looked it over very well, I'm sure,
Yeah, that's all.
but I see they got Caterpillar put a whole bunch of stuff in there.
Yeah, I have the same thing here. That,
Okay, it's just not
it's
on
just
here.
not on that paper.
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, because that's where I had the specs.
So Cindy, I wonder if what you're looking at is, you're looking at
Both of
the
them.
This
list
looks like a
price, but
nice
that's not the
model.
list price on here.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah,
source.
they had the same specs
Okay.
given to them, so.
And it pays for our,
Yeah, so.
So, yeah, that was my question. Are we, is it,
Comparing apples to apples.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
it's,
$56,000 less.
and it pays
Yeah.
for our mower deck.
Yeah. You got a free mower deck holiday.
yeah.
Okay,
All right, we have motion second. Any more comments, questions? Not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries. So then we have item number 12, action to declare the 2001 John Deere 6140 with side and rear mower decks and a 2008 Volvo loader surplus to be traded.
So
On that, it was a misprint on the, it's a 6410.
Oh, okay.
6410.
64.
and I'll move to do that.
I'll second.
Okay, motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, that motion carries.
Get them
All
bought.
right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
See
Rick.
it?
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick.
Our Volvo dealer is sitting in the back, Matt Nelson, he came to the bid and he was telling me that,
They bring caps with him?
next time. Well, Volvo will roughly be here in August. So there again, you heard
Gotta get all through.
you heard the sheriff, so everything's subject to change sometimes.
And the key word is roughly.
That price is locked in, right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, item number 13, Summit Carbon Solutions Project Update from Representative Ben Fuller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for having me here today. It's been about 5 months. Weather's changed a little bit since then, but
Yeah.
it's good to be back. Got a couple things you're welcome to discuss this morning.
Okay.
First, let me just give you kind of a brief overview of the project. You've probably heard it, but for those that haven't, Summit has a proposed pipeline crossing 5 states that will be attaching to 33 ethanol plants. The one out here, the Glacier, is one of them that we will be attaching to. Essentially, this is to help keep the ethanol industry viable moving into the future, helping lower their carbon intensity score and keeping corn prices as well as the ethanol plants viable. They will be sequestering it in North Dakota up by Bismarck, where it will be injected into the ground 1 to 2 miles. And the reason why Bismarck, the caverns there are the right coarseness and, you know, the engineering. I'm not that background, but it's the right environment to be able to sequester it underground. With that, one of the things, the first go around I heard and a lot of questions were about safety, the safety issues. Some of the things that Summit are going above and beyond for the PHMSA is PHMSA requires a 3-foot depth of cover. Summit has committed to doing a 4-foot minimum depth of cover. So the minimum depth of cover will be 4 feet. As well as PHMSA has instituted block valves being a minimum of 20 miles apart. So this project will fall under that. This will be one of the first projects that has that requirement for 20 mile block valves. It was 25, now it's been moved down to 20, and that's going to be a minimum. A lot of our block valves are closer, so if there is a detected leak, essentially it shuts that portion of the pipe off. The other thing is, a lot of times for a leak, other than somebody, the most frequent occurrence of a leak is somebody digging where they're not supposed to, not calling one call. But if there isn't, it's the welds. And so PHMSA requires a 10% X-ray of the welds. We are doing 100% of our welds will be X-ray. So there's that. And then also the pipeline will be monitored 24 hours a day with somebody in front of our SCADA system there. With that, last time I was here, I think it was June 28th. We were at 24% acquisition. Right now we're at 42.18. So we've acquired 5.66 easement miles here in Codington County. We are continuing to aggressively pursue voluntary easements at this time still. They're pretty happy with the numbers that are coming back. The numbers that they have, they're working with landowners as far as routes and as well as compensation. Just going with that, some of the investors we have are John Deere, Continental Resources, Summit Agriculture, which is the parent company of Summit Ag. So that's just to name a few. With that, I'll open it up for any questions you may have for me.
So what can you go over those easement numbers again?
Sure. Currently in Codington, we are at 42.18% or 5.66 miles of easement. And I think there's a total on the map on the back of the handout I gave you. We are 12.74 miles in Codington.
That's the total. That's
the total. Yes, sir.
Just Codington though.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
For the state, I can tell you the state, we are at 51.8%. And we have acquired 247.32 easement miles for the project.
247.32.
0.32.
Within the
Yes, ma'am.
state, yeah. Okay. And so you're not at a point of eminent domain. It's not really.
Correct. We're
Kind of not
still,
really a county question, but on the other hand, because I know it's regulated by statute, but.
Right.
Okay.
and they still have a target date for construction, August, late summer of 2023. Now that's a target date, and it is chances to move. So
How many of these miles that are left over are before the PUC for eminent domain?
at this point, none, because we're still aggressively pursuing voluntary easements.
I have one question. Where you said that everything will be monitored?
Correct.
That station be monitored at?
The headquarters will be in Ames, Iowa, but there will be operations teams in every state.
Mm-hmm.
You know where they'd be located at?
At this time, I don't know. I mean, South Dakota, generally, they have to be within like 2 hours, so it may be multiple sites here in South Dakota. They haven't determined that at this time.
Is it approximately 20 miles in Codington County?
12.74.
It's on that map.
Okay.
It's on the back, it's on the last page of the
I
map.
was just
On the
going
handout.
from memory.
Yep. And it's an 8-inch pipe here in Codington County.
The whole thing is 8 inches?
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Gable and I had a chance to sit in on a presentation at Glacial Lakes Energy here a while back, and I thought the presentation was done very well. It answered a lot of questions, and one of my concerns, being in the emergency services profession too, is our responders and responding to a leak. And can you talk just a little bit about that? Maybe that's not your deal, but
That's-
if there is a leak, how is it going to be handled? And
That's not my, but there is a safety and response rod, and he should have reached out to your county thing, and they are gonna go through, before this goes in service, they're gonna have training on how to handle a situation.
with the responders, those that would be responding to this
Correct.
type of situation.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
In the event, I mean, hopefully, like I
Right.
said, most likely, most of the time, if you look at any failures, it's due to negligence and not calling one call. That's why
Yeah.
we stress all pipelines. It doesn't matter what pipeline it is, they stress one
Right.
call. It's a free, and they have to have it marked within 48 hours of being called out, so.
So, and I don't know if the general public has a really good understanding about why this is necessary to lower those numbers that are with our ethanol to capture that carbon. Can you explain?
Sure.
Can you
so-
explain that just one more time? Maybe you did, but
I didn't go into a lot of detail about it, but, so there are a handful of states currently that require ethanol to be able to be purchased. That there's carbon intensity score is what it is. It's something that the federal government's put in place, and by 2030 it has to be, net zero is where, and currently these ethanol plants are sitting around 50s to 60s, and this will get them into the lower 20s. And then from there, they can do other things to subsidize that. Canada, most of Canada, California, Washington, Oregon, they require your carbon intensity score to be lower to sell into them. There's another 12 to 15 states, Iowa being one of them, that have bills on the table that they can't purchase the ethanol unless it's produced
Net
at a
zero.
lower carbon intensity score. And then by 2030, there's a trigger that they have to be at net zero, or they'll have to start purchasing credits, carbon credits, and that's gonna not make it viable to produce ethanol at that time.
Okay.
So,
currently that carbon's just being shot out.
correct, when I was driving in this morning, you could see it pumping out from the.
Okay,
ethanol.
so does, I mean, I think I know the answer to the question, but I mean, this is based upon, a theoretical idea that, some states have that you need to somehow balance the CO2 in the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Are they, and I know does California count all the corn that's planted? I mean, that consumes the CO2, or?
I can't.
Yeah, that's
answer
those,
that.
I mean, really, that's
I
kind
think they look at the facility and see how much they're pumping out, and that's what they consider, that's what they borrow.
Yeah. So, and I realize it's a matter of being competitive. You want
Right.
to maintain the market, and so it's a lot of investment. But it's a matter of somebody's opinion about
Right.
CO2.
Well, isn't
carbon, so-
California,
And it's a huge market. Yeah.
Well, and unfortunately, my opinion and your opinion don't count, right? At the end of the day, yeah.
isn't it in 2035 that California is not going to sell any more gasoline cars?
That's what they say. Yeah.
We'll see.
So this is a kind of a temporary fix.
Well, by 2030, the ethanol plants have to be a net zero federally. That's a federal regulation that's kicking into place. So at that point, they would have to start acquiring carbon credits to produce ethanol.
I'm curious about setbacks on the pipeline. Can you speak to that?
Sure.
Like this pipeline has been routed through Codington County, 12.7 miles, whatever it is. And I assume that there's setback regulations for the pipeline.
So our setback, what we require is a 50-foot easement. As far as that, a lot of times when we could, we've tried to stay away 500 feet from any residence. When
Structures.
possible, yes.
Okay.
When possible, when they were doing the routing. And now sometimes in negotiation, when I was in Nebraska, I can't speak for South Dakota. Some of my landowners, I prefer you not to be in my field if you can move it closer to my house. Because they wanted it out of their field and they already had a natural gas line running there anyways, and they're like, just can you put it there? So kind of parallel that, so. And we've made over 3,000. That's why we've aggressively pursued voluntary and made shifts. This is one of the first, I've been in the industry for 20 years. This is my first CO2, but this is the first time I've seen so many shifts and changes at landowners' request to help to route it for them, because a lot of times you make a shift, you're talking $100,000 to make a turn,
Sure.
and stuff. So I'm surprised that they're doing it, but they are really trying to get 100% done, and that's their goal.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Right,
All right,
thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, then we will move on to item number 14, discussion, possible action to issue an RFP or to accept a quote for design services for an HVAC project. Steve, are you coming up for that? All righty, I guess it's just gotta wait a minute.
I'm sure.
All right, so
Do you want me to introduce it, Steve, and then?
Yeah, why don't
Okay,
you do
so-
that?
And that, so basically, so this is for if you remember how, when we worked on the potential jail project, we did an RFP for an architect. So similarly for this kind of a complicated project where you have, an HVAC project for the jail, which is meant to service at least the heating and cooling, both the courthouse and the jail. You want to get a designer and engineer involved. So this is just for that part of it. So the design services. So we could RFP it. So there's a draft RFP that we prepared. Or we do have one quote from
Associate
yeah,
Counseling Engineering.
Yeah,
Out of
so-
Sioux Falls.
and Steve, you want to say how much you budgeted out of, so the total project costs were?
Total project cost was $4,79,050. Or 79,000, excuse me, $79,056. Also, I did budget for the services. And so we had, also on the project, but there was also on the project also for the, engineering for the electrical, backup generator for the courthouse also, but, in his proposal, and so that he had came up with a cost of 200, where is it at? 280,000, which includes trips to the site and listed. Additional trips would be $75 for one engineer.
And then, so if we did an RFP,
75 or
75,
70.
750, excuse me. Thank you,
Yeah.
Cindy.
which, so I think it's important to point out that I think in any, it's gonna be hard for either this company or anybody that issues a proposal to get a very exact cost. Part of that's because the age of our drawings.
Right.
Our blueprints are pretty old, and then there've been a few modifications, so there's gonna have to be a portion of this, it's probably gonna be higher. I mean, it's not really the fault of the proposer, but it's just kind of the nature of the.
It's just the nature because of some of the duct work that the heating, especially the duct work that's been done over the past years. And so that, and one thing noted that there was some stuff that's been removed out there in the duct work. So part of that is going to be their estimate would probably be a little bit different just of the scope of this beast.
Once they get into it.
Right.
So we kind of have the choice. We don't have to we could accept this quote, basically this proposal, legally. Because
For the RFP.
Yeah,
Right.
or-
And then they will handle the bidding process for us. Is that?
Yeah, the bid
Correct.
for the project.
Yep.
What we're talking about is just the RFP.
Just design,
Okay.
yeah. So we
Just the
don't have, we
design.
don't, well,
Okay.
so we have a choice of like issue an RFP and get more proposals or accept this one proposal or talk about it some more. I mean, not take action and talk about it some more, but, so. I don't know what-
I do have a question on the project description and then it says design services for HVAC upgrades and re-roof of the existing detention center.
Yeah, the re-roof is basically just the over the sheriff's portion.
What they have to tear off.
Yeah, what they have to tear off. Plus, well, one of the things is the roof there is the age of the building already,
Yeah.
back built in 90, so it's
They
already.
re-roof the whole building?
Nope, not to detention, because that was done probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
That's what I thought.
This is just over the sheriff's portion.
Yeah, this would be just the sheriff's office, Alport.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What they're going to disturb.
Correct. Well, part of this is it was when we had this partially done, looked at back last May, April from Johnson Control. One of the things was removing the unit that's on the sheriff's unit and then putting a larger chiller to function both facilities all together. Currently, I didn't realize there was talked about here yesterday that part of the chiller here also does in the detention center that was set up years ago. So this is just going to more or less function the sheriff's side also of the bigger chiller. With that, they would be tearing off that section, that chiller that's on top of the sheriff's office. So that would be a hole. So that would have to get, so this project would then do the whole roof.
So we're talking about
removal.
basically figuring out what needs to be done in that building and then, much more modern components.
Correct.
And there wouldn't have to be as many chillers and boilers. 'cause
Right, well, that's one of the things about it is the boilers that are right now down into the detention center function the courthouse and the detention center. There is a boiler that's down in the courthouse. That is a backup in case one of them goes down. Also, when the temperature gets below 20 degrees, then that kicks in for auxiliary heat. Because of the age and how much technology has changed, the boilers now are smaller and way more efficient and produce more energy to function. So it would take out 3 boilers and put 2 in.
So you'll
So-
separate the buildings then.
Well, it still, then that would function, they would be in the detention center, but it would function both units.
The question I had, Steve, so, it's always good to compete if you can, we don't have to for this part
Right.
of the project, but how do you think it's gonna affect the time frame? So when I wrote this RFP, the soonest I think we could ask for him back would be the first meeting of next year.
Right.
So, I mean, that's.
Currently, as far as if we went with RFP, it would have that and we'd have to review it. The engineering firm out of Sioux Falls said it wouldn't be until February if they would get this. It wouldn't be until February before they could start with the engineering process anyway, because they're backlogged that much. One of the things that was asked is get some referrals of projects, and of course that was just emailed this morning, so that, and of course the list there is quite lengthy of quite a bit of projects that they have done for counties or
I would just
Yes.
say, so through this process, you've been thinking about this and working on this for a while. Have there really been any other ones? I mean,
No, what this was is I reached out here in town trying to find somebody that's a mechanical engineer. There's nobody in town anymore. We used to be Todd, architect, used to do that, and he had retired and so that. So I reached out to some of the people here in town. They couldn't really give me an answer of anybody. I reached out to Mark Junger from Banner. He came back and referred this firm out of Sioux Falls, give high recommendations for these gentlemen. And so I did contact them, gave them some information. And so then he could give me a an estimate.
So is your recommendation that we accept this proposal or?
I would recommend accept this, especially for his referrals that he has. Granted, there's gonna probably be some influx of prices, you know, and so that, and that's
Right.
also in his proposal also.
Yeah.
Cause there's some things that's unknown. And so that, one of the things that he pointed out in this would be a smoke control system. They have to assess if there's one in there. And then, I would imagine there's probably no sprinkler system over at the jail. That would probably have to
There
be
is.
added. Is
There
there?
is, but there might be some code
There
updates
is
or
some,
something.
okay.
Yeah, there might be some code updates or something like
Yeah.
that, but,
Probably the biggest thing is probably going to be is that smoke
I think.
stuff in the HVAC system.
Yeah, I think what we're likely to see is, kind of the figuring it out part, the assessment,
Right.
what's the state of play in there since the drawings that we have are aged. And they're probably gonna have to redo some of the drawings. I'm not, this isn't my area, but I
So-
think that's.
I think, since we're talking about February anyway, I would say leave this open as an RFP and
Okay.
put it out as an RFP. We're talking about a lot of money here.
Right,
And,
exactly.
and, with the time frame, I mean, there's nothing saying we can't come back and accept this, right? I mean,
No,
so,
no.
I mean, I would make a recommendation that we put it out and see if we get any more bids.
Okay.
I mean, that's just me
So-
because of the amount of money.
So if you make them, so the way this draft is written, so there, I think it's pretty much ready to go,
Is there a
but.
timeline on? that?
Yeah, so the due date back would be basically a month from now, so January the 3rd. I think,
Okay.
I think that's adequate because we could. With the holidays and everything, that's probably a little bit demanding, but I think it's probably doable if we get it out. So.
So I would say, do I need to make a motion that we?
Yeah.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we leave this open, this request for proposals open until,
Action to issue an RFP.
oh, okay.
Or accept
I would
it.
make the motion to
I'll second it.
issue an
Issue
RFP
Okay, and so.
with the
Gabe will
deadline
second
date
it.
of January 3rd.
Yeah, and then so you guys so basically the motion is to issue the RFP. And right now, the way it's written, we'll go for January 3rd if we can. So
And
then
if that's the only one we get, that's the only one we get, but at least we'll know at that
Mhm.
point.
All right, so a motion second. Any other comments, questions?
Where are you gonna issue this?
Well, we could put it on the county website and then do we need to put it in, can we put a summary of it in the paper and refer them to the county website? Is that? And there are people that watch, I mean, there are folks
Okay,
that watch for these
is
things.
that enough, I guess is my
The
thought.
best-
It's fine with that.
Yeah, we'll have to.
I mean,
Okay.
just,
We
When I've
put
done
it,
them before.
It has been more of a
Otherwise,
challenge
there's
all
not
the
gonna
time.
be
But
a
no, there are,
Steve can do is send the RFP to potential.
Yeah. if we.
Engineers, if you don't
Yeah.
want any.
There are.
I was
I think
referred
that's
to
what-
another one down in Sioux Falls. This one
I
here
guess
was
that would
highly
be-
recommended, but
Yeah,
Another another option is to
yeah.
send it to people that,
that's how,
Yeah.
that's how I've done it before when I've been
okay,
dealt with these things. And then the other thing is I think it's out of West River. There's one of the companies that tries to maintain listings for contractors nationwide or throughout the Midwest. And so, you've probably gotten the emails and then referred them to me in the past on.
you know, I believe I might have gotten something from when we were
Yeah.
doing the
Maybe it
sewer
was something.
project.
Yeah,
And so
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 they're
Just
always
curious if we can get it, maybe we can get a lower bid on it.
We'll do the-
Who knows?
Yeah,
Let's-
the message we want to
Million.
relay to the people that are watching, that this is actually, we're asking for a proposal.
right,
That's all this
Right.
is a proposal.
for engineering
for
services.
engineering services,
For
yes.
engineering.
Yeah.
They look at the numbers and they'll think that we're gonna build a new courthouse with this, the numbers are.
Yeah, and so, and then the other thing to keep in mind is when you look at these kind of proposals for design, it's not, the cost of their services is part of it, but if you get the right services, it's gonna, make the process all more efficient. And
Right.
you save money that way too, so in the overall cost, so it's one of the factors when you think about this.
But I've already had a constituent say, why are you people thinking about putting that kind of money into that facility? And we're gonna get a lot of pushback from our our people, you know,
And, you know,
and we need it.
I real, and that might be so, but if that wasn't a jail, we'd probably utilize that building for a function anyway, and part of that needs to be upgraded anyway, because, I mean.
Conceptual.
Good answer.
For basically, the biggest thing is our chiller and heating units, and as we've known here in the past year or so, we've been having some issues with those. In fact, here, they just finally got the one boiler that's been down for almost 2 weeks going again. So factors like this start taking place. So
I'm not trying to drag it out by no means.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yep.
trying to maybe see if we can get a lower bid on it, and you never,
Mhm.
I don't think it's a bad thing.
And
They can't start till February anyway.
You know, so that budget number in there just helps you get a better proposal. I mean,
Right.
that gives it, so the more detail you can give them this, and we don't have a ton because of the age of the drawings, but that we have, so.
Cause this firm actually turned around and helped send some RFPs for examples and stuff.
Yeah, they were
He had
very nice,
stated,
very helpful.
he stated that the more detail you can be,
Yeah.
the less questions you're gonna
Better,
get
yeah.
asked.
Yeah,
And
sure
so
that.
the key thing is that they need, if they have questions or they want to look at the drawings that we do have, they contact Steve and.
Yep.
All right, we ready to vote?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. All right.
Thank you.
Best, Steve.
Has not been an easy process.
A lot of money.
Better than you.
The firms? Yeah.
That we received the proposal for,
Yeah.
Associated, okay, you're gonna give it to me. All right, item number 15, action to approve the ARPA November salary transfer.
And the amount we can transfer this month from the ARPA funds is $582,069.11. Of that amount, $487,304.32 goes to the general fund. $87,171.98 goes to the highway fund. And then the victims of crime fund is transferred $7,592.81, and that is for November salary claims.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Gable, second by Waterman. Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 16, action to approve claims for payment.
And the claims we have for payment today are, that should say November, not October. Salary claims in the amount of $631,401.17.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van
Second.
Duzen, second by Gable. Comments, questions? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 17, action to approve automatic budget supplements.
We have an automatic budget supplement to the welfare budget in the amount of $25,059.56. And this is ERA2 grant dollars that we can reimburse that budget with.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Gable, second by Johnson. Comments, questions on that? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, that motion carries. Item number 18, action to approve personnel changes.
And this is an administrative support part-time position in the state's attorney's office. I believe it's less than 20 hours per week for Ruth Swenson, who was a previous employee. She will start at step 5, $19.65 per hour.
Move to approve.
Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. Comments, questions on that? Not hearing any, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Travel requests.
Couple of travel requests, 3 of them. One is for the emergency management director to attend a class. G191. It's a required class. And then the WIC administrative tech and the health administrative tech to attend a regional meeting in Redfield.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Johnson, second by Gable. Comments, questions on that? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, that motion carries. Public notices, possible quorum of commissioners could be in attendance at.
We have a meeting about.
Yep,
GOP meeting tomorrow.
GOP,
When's the next government affairs?
that's not till the next
next
week.
week.
And I think that's all I have basically is those two items. Till next week. Okay. All right, anything for the old business? How about new business?
I would say probably the old business. This past week, I did attend the quarterly South Dakota Retirement Board meeting in Pier. And as you've been watching the markets go up and down and sideways and then down again and then up and down. Actually, the fund is still 100% funded. Cindy, this is good news for you.
Yeah,
And
hang on for a couple more months.
we looked at proposal for we're operating with that 3.5% increase is what we got this past year. And we're probably looking at a little over 2 next year for 0405. So it all in all, it looks good. And the fact is that we're 100% funded. We're one of the very few, state, federal funded retirement systems in the country. So we're very, very fortunate.
Right.
Madam Chair, just, I attended a JDI meeting this past week and it's on Friday and it's, nothing, just, it's going well, thanks to the Boys and Girls Club and Lewis Canfield and all the other people involved. It is, very effective. I mean, there's a lot of youth diversion, so it's kind of that nip it in the bud idea to ultimately prevent juvenile offenders from becoming adult offenders. I mean, that's kind of what it's about. So it's kind of moving along well, I think.
And I believe they have their family pretty close to being certified now, so.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, so we did took action on that for the it's kind of like a foster, kind of a quick, it's closest to a quick foster care thing. Say if you have a youth that you don't want to, offender, you don't want to incarcerate, or even if they haven't offended, but it's just a situation where you can't, they don't really have a home to go to, or it's just too volatile back at home. So there's a family in the community that's willing to basically be the family where the home where a youth like that in that situation can go. So,
Right.
so that is a big step. And so.
I talked to Lewis at Giving Tuesday at that event and they actually utilize them to transport a juvenile
To Texas, yeah.
to Texas,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, they just
met it
voluntarily-
halfway, so,
They just voluntarily did that. And
yeah. So that's
Madam
going to be good, yes.
At the floor. Michelle Kakacek is here with us this morning and she comes every Tuesday and sits in on our county commission meetings and I am the liaison to the development company for this board. And I just want to thank Michelle for her work over this past year. New executive director there. That's your title, executive director at the development company. She's doing a fantastic job and we appreciate our partnership with the WDC. Thank you.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah. She's been there a little while now,
Yeah.
but she's doing a great job.
I just have one.
And that's a great board.
Go ahead. I
Are
just
you-
have one thing. Tomorrow is December 7th. And for all our veterans.
Yep.
And the start of World War II. And
Pearl Harbor.
just want to thank everybody and have everybody and do some remembrance.
All right, so we are new business then, I guess. Okay. How about anything for the open? Okay, I think we do have a need for executive session and it will be number 3, contract negotiations.
it'll be quick. It'll be very quick.
Okay.
So
All right.
look for a motion to go into executive
moved.
session. Motion by Van Duzen, second by Gable. All in favor, say aye.